Hey, Traps is here. Putting this video together. If you caught my last video, you heard the story about how my camper got hit with a tree and got totaled. It's still, I mean, it's total as in, by the insurance terms, it's total, but it's still in good shape. The power still works. I don't know what damage is done to this thing, but you know, I think it's for the best. We're going to be replacing it with another Rockwood Mini Lite 2509. We just love that model. It's not perfect. There's always things that can be made better. So I thought I'd put this video together and show you what I've done to improve the 2509. Little things here and there, little knickknacks that I've added that maybe you'd be interested in doing as well. I'm going to take all these enhancements out of here and put them on the new camper when I get it, but it's a 2509, so it should all go together pretty simply. So let me show you a few things I did. And we'll start on the inside, and most everything's modifications on the inside, including how we get our bikes. So there's 4 of us in the family, have 4 bikes. How do we get them to the campsite? A lot of people just throw them in here somewhere. I used to lash them in here, but they'd bang around and cause, you know, scuffing and everything. So came up with another idea. Now, I can't take credit for any of these ideas. Most of these were ideas on the Rockwood forums. Or the Facebook Mini Lite forum, both 2 great locations to get great ideas. It's a fantastic community. Shout out to all the folks on the forums, especially the Facebook forum. You guys are amazing. Anyway, take a look. I'll show you what I did. We'll start with the bikes. Let's take a look down at the dinette, and you can see the bikes I have here mounted on the inside. So I've got 2. What I typically do is these are locked down at the front forks, and I usually put a 3rd smaller bike in between facing the other way. I don't have that one locked down, but let me show you how it's set up. So if you take a look, we've got 2 boards that I put down here, and these brackets, which you can get on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. So I got a couple of those. So it really works well. You just unscrew it, and then the bikes come right out of here. So I can get 3 bikes in the RV, and I put a 4th bike in the bed of the truck. I could, I suppose, get all 4 in here. It's possible that they would fit, but it just works out just as well for us. So it's really nice. We typically put some cushions around here, and I don't really worry too much about it scuffing too much, but you can put a towel under there if it concerns you. But it really works well. So let me show you how when we get to where we're going, this thing just flips right around. I just flip it around, and this ends up pointing down, and then you put the cushions on there, so there's no worry about obviously this thing getting in the way. So let me just show you that. So the bikes are out, and all we have to do at this point is lift this up. And flip it over, and we can just put the cushions on here, and the dinette is ready. So there's a very low impact screws. They don't stick up very much. Easy to pick up at the hardware store. Got some nice washers on there, so it folds up. It holds together really nicely. So I'm just going to take those off and put it on the new camper. So that's one modification. Now for the second modification, we come forward to the wardrobes on either side. Now this is a real simple one. All I did was I put some shelves in here on both sides. 2 shelves. This got some little 1x1 brackets in there that I just made on the old table saw. All right, kind of get in and see how that's set up. Really simple, nothing to it really. Just had to measure it out. Piece of cake. Now let's move over here and take a look at this console. In fact, someone was asking me about this on the winterizing video, what all these consoles were. So we got a couple things here going on. To the left, we have a Progressive Industries surge suppressor. These things are awesome. So if you have over or under amperage at the site, it won't blow out all your electronics. It won't fry your AC. Everyone should have a surge suppressor. So there's 2 kinds. There's the kind that is built in, which is what I got here. And there's also one that sits on the power pole, which is nice. But this is more secure. No one's going to steal it, obviously. And it's not hard to install. In fact, I'm going to be removing it today. So that's one of the... In fact, I got a light here. Obviously, I got the access and where it's installed is actually behind the power panel here. I'll take some pictures of that and show you when I'm doing that. Second thing we got here is a battery minder. It's a voltage sensor. Tells you how much power you got in your batteries. It's a little bit more reliable than the simple lights on the panel here. And it's a fairly cheap one. It's a Chinese maker. I don't remember the name of it, but it runs to the battery boxes in the front of the camper, and it's actually a USB. It's actually apparently it's Bluetooth, and so it can wirelessly transmit. But the range is so poor that it doesn't work at all, even for that short range to the front of the camper. So I just ran a USB cable underneath the bed of the camper. Comes up right there. You can I put some foam insulation in there, and you can kind of see the wire coming out. And just kind of shoots it right up to here. It shows you your amperage usage, and it also shows you how much juice you got left. It does a bunch of other stuff too, but probably gonna get a new one. I'm not really super happy with it. It almost gives you more information than you need, but you can see how much power you're using over the course of your week, if you're dry camping or boondocking. So the next thing I did was I replaced the thermostat, the standard thermostat that came with it, with a digital version. It's still the Coleman Mac. You can get that on Amazon. I'll put a link to it, and I put a digital version in. And the nice thing about going with the Coleman Mac is it just is a very simple wire for wire replacement. It's all the same wires. You just pull it out, put the same wires to the same connectors, and then put it back in, and it's done. Very quick installation. Highly recommend this one. It's not too expensive, and now you can see exactly what the temperature is in the cabin, and you can adjust it very easily. It's very precise, much more so than the analog one. Let's see. One more thing to show you, I think, is this is a small one. I just put in a new shower head. Really, this one's it's just it oxygenates the water, so it comes out better pressure. Is all, but it makes for a really nice shower. I've used it many times, and I also put a dead cutoff for the water supply, so it's not dripping. And yeah, it was fairly inexpensive. I'll put a link to that in as well. There was another thing we replaced, and that was the entry door. So we put a new lock on it. And this is the RV lock model, and I can't say enough for these, how great these are. This one came with a separate wireless keypad. You just stick on there. So it has that as a way to unlock. You can use the pad. It has obviously a key, and also it's got a remote key fob, so you can access it like your car. You just click on it, and it was very easy to. It slotted right in the old unit. It was very easy to replace, and it didn't take long at all. Last thing we did was we replaced all the locks with these barrel cam locks, and that makes it a lot easier to lock the system up for the season. And I hope you enjoyed the tour. This is the last video I'll be making for this camper, and soon we'll have a new one, and I'll put all those things I just showed you back in the new one, and we'll be good to go for the season. So I'm pretty excited about that, certainly. Let me know if you have any questions, or if maybe you have some ideas for some things that you've modified to your camper that you'd like to add, and I'd love to hear your suggestions, because it's always something new to put together, something new to add to make camping just a little bit easier. Until next time, take care. This is Traps is signing off.